I'm not saying my mind has been changed on Orbeetle VMAX, but this deck just made top 8 at a recent online tournament, which forced me to at least try it out. I was originally preparing to play Pokebeach's list with Sableye V, and there was also a list with Dragapult VMAX that didn't do as well in the tournament, but this version is about as straightforward as possible as you can possibly get. You play a 4-4 line of Orbeetle V and VMAX, as well as 2 copies of Snorlax. That one just has an amazing ability, Gourmandize. Once during your turn, if this is in the active, you can draw until you have 7. If you use this ability, your turn ends, but that's just really good. And you only play 2 because the way the math works out, if your opponent knocks out 2 Snorlax, they still only have 4 prizes left, and they still have to knock out 2 Orbeetle VMAX to get the win. So just the way that works, you don't want to play a 3rd Snorlax because that would be bad. So there's only 10 Pokemon in the deck. That means a lot of trainers. There's 40 trainers in the deck. So it's really just a matter of healing your Orbeetle VMAX at the right times, hoping your opponent flips tails on Crushing Hammer, and then just hoping that they also attach a lot of energy so Orbeetle VMAX can do lots of damage. The problem that I've always seen with Orbeetle VMAX is that Eerie Beam, once during your turn, if this is in the active, you can put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's Pokemon. So let's say you have 4 Orbeetle VMAX and you somehow manage to do Switch and U-Turn Board and Mallow Lana and Bird Keeper. If you manage to do all that, you can put 4 damage counters per turn on all of your opponent's Pokemon. That's really good. But there's no synergy with G-Max Wave. G-Max Wave for 2 energy, so that's where the Crushing Hammer comes in, is if you get Crushing Hammered, you're a turn behind. But G-Max Wave does 50 plus. This attack does 50 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. I'd say the average these days is 3 energy, so you're doing 200 damage, plus the Eerie Beam, so you can do 200 to 240 per turn, which is pretty good for 2 energy. But the drawback here is that they have to have energy attached to their active Pokemon. If your opponent needs to buy a turn or something, they can just throw up a Dedenne or an Oricorio or a Crobat or something with 0 energy on it, or just any Pokemon with 0 energy. Put it in the active. If you can't bosses around it, because you only play 2 bosses orders in the whole deck, so targeting what you want to target isn't going to be easy. You only play 2 bosses, so if they just put a Pokemon with no energy in the active, you're doing 50 damage. That is not good. That is probably the main reason why I didn't think this was going to be a deck. But then it goes and finishes top 8, so let's see if it's actually good. So I won the coin flip. I think you want to choose to go first with this deck because you can start 3 Orbeetle VMAX. No, because if you start the Snorlax, that's really good. That's perfect. This is a great starting hand. You have an Orbeetle, you have an energy. Unfortunately, I'm facing probably a fire. Oh, I'm facing the Coalossal deck. That's awesome. So they probably will play the Ninetales, and the Ninetales can knock me out, so that's unfortunate. But I think at this point, there's a Capture Energy. That is amazing, so I will Capture Energy. Oh, is it worth it to go for Aromatic or Capture Energy? Because if I go with Capture Energy, I can get another Orbeetle V, but I won't have a Weakness Guard on this one, so that's a little bit concerning. Or I could play it safe and go with another Snorlax. No, I think I'll go with Orbeetle. I won't have, a full-powered Gourmandize, unfortunately, because I will be loading my hand up, but it increases the chances of me getting something that isn't Orbeetle VMAX. So I'm getting to only 2 cards, but I think I should be okay. And they're a setup deck, they're a stage 2 deck, so they're not doing anything. There's a Weakness Guard. I think what I do, honestly, because I got the Weakness Guard, I think I just sort of sit back and do nothing. Hopefully they have some things. Okay, I will play this out. I won't go crazy. I will do that. I will do that. I will put the Snorlax down. I will do that. I will Weakness Guard, and then I'll just sort of pretend like I don't have anything. So I'm getting set up. I want to play this game. I want to see what happens because I have the weakness advantage over their Sandaconda, but I'm weak to their Ninetales. So I think this could be an interesting game. They have to do that. That's fine. I'll give them the time they need to get set up because I think this could be a great first game. So, and I'm all set up. I have a great hand here. I'm susceptible to Marnie. They have a Coalossal. This is great. They're all set up. I'm probably going to end up losing this game, but I didn't want them to be a turn behind and then concede. That just wouldn't have been fun. I think this is Orbeetle VMAX's sweet spot. Yes, it finished in top 8 in that tournament, But this I think pretty much the exact same list finished not in top 8. It finished, I think, at 500. It didn't do very well. I think it was like 3-3 in another tournament. So the deck had one tournament where it went, I think, 10-3, and then in another tournament it went like 3-3, and then it dropped because it couldn't advance. So I think this is the sweet spot. This is the tier that it belongs in. It belongs in the Coalossal Sandaconda tier, not the ADP Eternatus tier. But let's find out. And the negative side here is that they get rid of their energy. They get rid of their energy when they attack, so that's bad. And they don't have their dude out yet, so I think I could Gormandize. I could do that. I guess I just Bird Keeper and let's get this show on the road. So we got that. I don't want to use Wondrous Labyrinth yet because I don't know what I think of Wondrous Labyrinth, and this is another reason why Orbeetle's kind of disappointing. They can just scoop that back up into their hand, and they're not really punished because I just did 50 damage. So yeah, there's a Stellar Wish, so I'm gonna knock that out if they don't scoop it up, which is great. But they can do some things with Sandaconda that I don't like. And I'm not gonna bosses their Coalossal because that would be mean, and there's a Marnie, and that's just horrible. But Wondrous Labyrinth, I don't know if it quite belongs here because I've never used it for its intended effect. I don't think 310 HP is enough. I truly believe that Orbeetle VMAX needs to either have a Big Charm or a Hero's Medal on it. Hero's Medal forces your opponent to knock out 3 Orbeetle VMAX instead of 2. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to play your Snorlax, but I don't know. I don't like the fact that your opponent only needs to knock out 2 310 hit point Pokemon to win. Obviously, if they have to go through the Snorlax, then it's a different story, but yeah, so this is bad. I can go get the cool thing here is I can go and get Mallow and Lana, so that's really good. I have U-Turn Board, that's even better. So I think I take my prize with Eerie Beam. And yeah, like I said, this is the perfect matchup for this deck because it shows the strengths, it shows the weaknesses. The Cape of Toughness, they're going to have more than one. I know they ditched one, but they might also have an Air Balloon or something, so yeah, let's go get Mallow and Lana. Or does Mallow and Lana even matter? Because they're doing 220 turn after turn. So I would have to... I don't even think Mallow and Lana makes really a difference. I honestly don't know if it makes a difference, but I think I want to attack with this one to at least buy myself another turn, so I'll do that. Already did that. So I will ditch the... Now this is the tough part. What do I get rid of? I can get rid of Guzma Hala and Lillie's Pokédoll. I can get rid of the Orbeetle V and just say I'm not going to have another Orbeetle for the rest of the game. So I think I do that. Switch your active. So I ditch. I don't want to ditch the Tool Scrapper because that could be bad. The Pokédoll I think is expendable, and I think Guzma Hala is expendable. I think, or maybe U-Turn Board. I don't know. I think I'm making a mistake there, but I always have the Snorlax as a backup, so that's fine. I will put that down and Eerie Beam. So the damage is going to start to add up, which is really nice. The damage is going to start to add up. I'm doing... Oh, right. Forgot about that. Okay, so I did the math wrong. It does 200 because of the weakness. But they can still easily win. They just need to find a Ninetales. That's it. And that ain't happening. So they're playing a 4 heavy Sandaconda list. Does that mean they cut out the Ninetales? You can't cut Ninetales from this list. You need to have that weakness advantage over Metal Pokemon and Grass Pokemon. So I think it's a mistake to be playing 4 Sandaconda. I think you definitely need at least 1 Ninetales, maybe 2 in this day and age. Yeah, so that's going to be a win. So I'll just Eerie Beam. Yeah, they made a mistake. I'm going to scrap their tools. There we go. I will put the U-Turn Board there. I will Marnie. And just so I can show it, I'm going to retreat this one because I guess that's what I should do. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's do that. Let's put the Wondrous Labyrinth into play. Let's say, you know, you're gonna have to do a lot to win. I got this Orbeetle. You know, I got so many Orbeetles, I don't even know what to do with them. We got the Eerie Beam. So this was a great first game. It wasn't against the Tier 1 deck, it was against the Tier 2 deck with Coalossal Sandaconda. You know, I think it won one tournament and back in the Darkness Ablaze days. But it is not a consistent, you know, top finisher. There's, you know, ADP, Eternatus, Lucario Memetalization, Pikarom. So we've kind of figured out the top deck. Centistorch obviously is the big one. And so they can attack this turn. That's good. So the question is, can I bump that Cape of Toughness? If not, then I'm just going to be dancing around a little bit. And this is another reason why I thought Wondrous Labyrinth isn't that great. I had to attach a third energy to my Orbeetle to do anything. They just bumped it, and now I whiffed that energy there. So I'm not sold on Wondrous Labyrinth in this deck. I think Wondrous Labyrinth is great in Centistorch or even the Coalossal deck, but you know, just decks with built-in energy acceleration. But if you're playing a deck that is susceptible to Crushing Hammer, you shouldn't be playing Wondrous Labyrinth. But then, you know, the deck finished top 8, and I'm sure Wondrous Labyrinth came into play, so what am I talking about, right? But I think over the long run, I don't think Wondrous Labyrinth is great. I've played a few games with Orbeetle now, and it has never helped. Never helped. So while they're doing all this, I realize they've put themselves in a checkmate scenario. I guess I made a mistake. I will admit that I made a mistake. I should have attacked with this one, the damaged one. I was thinking too much. So I didn't think they'd have Cramorant. They can just win. If I can't take a knockout this turn, they win. And I don't play another Tool Scrapper. So I think they just win unless I can find something. Yeah, actually, I have to win this turn. So I wasn't really paying attention. Yeah, let's put that up. So I kept thinking I had the game in the bag, so I didn't have to play a certain way. They're doing 160. Okay, so I got it. Okay, so that it was close, but I'm not going to lose this turn. I will have another turn. So I will switch there. Tag Call would get me nothing that I really need. So I think I got to get rid of 2 with Mallow Lana. Okay, so I'll just Eerie Beam again. Because Tag Call can't get you boss's orders. I think I have to ditch the Turffield. How many? Okay, hang on. I don't have an energy. Oh, crap. Okay, so that's bad. I forgot that the basic was on the active, so that is my fault. I will Mallow and Lana. I will get rid of, I guess, Guzma and Hala, and yeah, it doesn't matter. Guzma and Hala doesn't matter at this point. Actually, get rid of 1. Okay, so I made a huge mistake. They can't knock me out with Cramorant. So it's just going to be, do they have a boss's orders? If they have a boss's orders, they win. If they don't have a boss's orders, I think I win. So I misplayed a little bit by thinking I had the game in the bag. I never saw a reset stamp in this entire game. That would have really come in handy. And there's boss's orders for game, so I was playing a little loose, but you know that sometimes that's just what happens. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Did I win this game? Sure. But, you know, I made a little bit of a misplay. I lost. Wasn't expecting to see this screen. But I think that was a good game. I think I should have won it. But again, I'm an idiot. They don't play Ninetales. They play the Cramorant. Cramorant's good, but I think you have to find space for a Ninetales in this deck. But what do I know? Let's go to the next game and see what happens. It's another Snorlax start for me, so this is going to be good. This is against Eternatus. I don't know if I can beat Eternatus. I will put the Wondrous Labyrinth down because that stops them from using Power Accelerator. So the question now is, which do I think is more important? Bird Keeper can't get me energy, but it does let me switch. Guzma Hala gets me energy, but it doesn't let me switch. So I think I have to get rid of Guzma Hala. I will go get an Orbeetle. And this way I have the U-turn. Maybe I should have ditched the U-turn board, but I'm going to have 2 Orbeetle in play. That's really good. I will U-turn board, I guess that one. And yeah, draw to 7. Hope they don't play Marnie. And I got an energy. That's great. And this is the card that's going to win the Eternatus matchup. Aromatic Grass Energy. If you're playing a grass deck, put this in there. The grass Pokemon this card is attached to recovers from all special conditions and can't be affected by any special conditions. If they don't have a stadium, they ain't attacking. So that is just amazing. The downside, unfortunately, is that Eternatus is never going to have more than 2 energy attached to it. So that is a huge, not good thing. So I will have to be aware of that. And if the Wondrous Labyrinth stays in play, I can't do anything. Again, the Wondrous Labyrinth is going to save me from them using Power Accelerator turn 1 to put more energy into play. They know they can't play 2 Crobat. Okay, I was like, they know they can't play 2 Crobat, right? But they're just building up their bench. Did they? Okay, I thought that was a Zigzagoon. But yeah, the Crobat V was not a misplay on their part. It's a smart play on their part. And they play the Galarian Weezing? Oh no, they play Weezing. What? No. Yeah, Galarian Weezing. Why? I guess just in case they have to stall for a turn? Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I don't think I can be slow. I gotta go fast. Gotta be Sonic here. I didn't get a stadium. Maybe I should have gone for the stadium with Guzma Hala, but that's the way it happens sometimes. So I will evolve this one. I will Eerie Beam. Do that, and they can attack. They can knock out my Snorlax, but that's not really a huge deal. I think at this point, I put the U-turn board there. I don't really need to tag call for anything, so I think I'll just... let's go get another Orbeetle, actually. Let's do that. Let's get another Orbeetle. Do I want to tag call for anybody? Not really. So I have the Guzma Hala. Top card's drawn 2 cards. So yeah, let's Gourmandize and see what happens. There's an Evolution Incense. Okay, so I think it might have been a misplay. Because I can't remember if I had the Switch in my hand before I played Bird Keeper. If I had the Switch in my hand, then I should have used Guzma Hala. But if I didn't have a Switch in my hand, then Bird Keeper was the right call. But you're seeing the Wondrous Labyrinth. It has slowed down my ability to do things. And they know that this has to be in the active, right? But I guess they're trying something different. Instead of the Toxicroak build, the Toxicroak Slowbro. But I don't know. Neutralizing gas. I don't know if that's spicy or if that's just a waste. I don't know. It's tough to say. But I did let them get set up. The good news is that they can't poison me as long as I have that aromatic energy attached. I'm holding on to my switches. I'm down 2 Bird Keeper. That was unfortunate, but that's fine. I want to make sure that I evolve these guys so they can't take a quick knockout. So what are they going to do? Did they whiff an energy? Or sorry, did they whiff a stadium? If they whiffed a stadium, then I'm totally fine. So do they have one of their Dark City or... maybe even Viridian. They got Crobat, so hopefully they can't bump the Wondrous Labyrinth. And that just gives me an extra turn. And so I got Marnied. That is bad. I do have Reset Stamp. If they can't do anything, then it's totally fine. They just got the Weezing and pass. So I don't have abilities. So at this exact moment, that is a spicy Weezing. That is a spicy Galarian Weezing. I have no abilities. And they can't poison for anything meaningful right now. I got Lillie's Pokédoll. That's fine. I guess I should save that. So we got that. I have to attach the energy. So they just big brain the heck out of me right there. So with that Galarian Weezing, I can't use Snorlax, I can't use Orbeetle VMAX. Maybe they've been facing this deck and they're like, well, what's the one card that can stop them? And that is 100% Galarian Weezing. So I can't use Snorlax. They just used the best Marnie. I had an amazing hand. I had a Guzma Hala. I had everything I needed. And then they drop a freaking Galarian Weezing on me. And that's bad. So let's see what they got. We're both we're not playing optimally, we're not drawing optimally. This isn't, if you're facing Eternatus, most of the time things go a little bit smoother than this. They still need, that only reduces it by 2, so they still need something else. And they used the Piers to go get Crobat and Hiding Energy, so now they can retreat their Weezing, but they have to still get a Stadium. So, Wondrous Labyrinth, give us the Wondrous Labyrinth, take it away. It is, Weakness Guard in Eternatus. When you got the Coalossal nowadays, you got to do that. Okay, so they can't retreat this. And that just buys me another turn. So there's an Orbeetle. I don't want a freaking Orbeetle. So I can't rearrange. Well, yes, if I actually wanted to, I could rearrange my deck. I could, or no, may discard and put. So I can't rearrange my deck. So all my good cards are on the bottom of my deck. I'm just sort of waiting for them to attack. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. I should not have benched this Orbeetle. I didn't think a Marnie was going to just completely destroy everything, but Marnie always destroys everything. That's just what happens. It's the worst card ever. It should be banned. Obviously, I'm joking. It's fine. It's just whenever you Marnie someone, it feels good. Whenever you get Marnied, it feels bad. And they're going to bosses, and they're going to knock out an Orbeetle, and this is why I shouldn't... Oh! So they're down 2 bosses. And I have a bosses, but I can use Eerie Beam. So I think I'm just going to do that. That's fine. I will Mallow and Lana to thin my hand down. I will use that. So I think I'm only going to have a chance to use one Snorlax anyways. I think this is it. I think the reset stamp and the bosses are more important than anything. I think the Pokédoll, maybe I should have gotten rid of the Pokédoll, but I think this is what's going to help right here, is just Gourmandize and then just hope that they can't find their bosses. That's really what it is. I have the Turffield finally. I still don't have more Orbeetles. That is the worst. So I will have to, I guess what I'll do is, assuming they don't bosses, assuming that magical thing happens, I will go up with this one, use Eerie Beam, Turffield, get a VMAX, retreat into this one, attack with this one. I won't have an Aromatic Energy unless I can, draw into it. And because the deck only plays 2 bosses, I can't use a good strategy where okay, are they just going to come up with that? I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that. They don't know what's in my hand. They're going to poison it. I am not going to bother doing the math, but I don't really agree with that because... Okay, there's Marnie. Every time you try to... That's another thing I don't like about Marnie. It's just, you try to plan out your next turn as it's happening. One thing I've seen people talk about before is that the Pokemon trading card game, there's not that interaction with your opponent where, in Magic cards, in Magic cards, if your opponent does something, you can just say immediately, I'm countering that. I don't know where I'm going with this story. It's my turn anyway. I'm gonna just forget I started talking about that. Okay, so I can get rid of the air balloons. Got that and that, I think. And connection issues. And oh man, that was close. I backed out of the game, I was still connected to the game, but I used the internet. The internet was fine. That was all PTCGO. That was not my internet. That was just PTCGO being PTCGO. So I think I scrap some tools. I get rid of the air balloon and the air balloon. I don't think they're playing Big Charm. So I do that, I do that. I will Marnie them. I'll finally be able to... I mean, it's not worth it using boss's orders, right? Because I can't take a meaningful knockout. So I think I'll probably just back into the Lillie's Pokédoll because they have the Galarian Weezing. I think I just do that. And then I can capture energy, and I can safely capture energy a Snorlax, which is... No, never mind, I got rid of it. Okay, well, I got capture energy there, that's useless. And G-Max Wave, I don't want to use G-Max Wave. I think I just put the Pokédoll up front. And yeah, go for it. So, man, these Marnies, just Marnie, to get back to my earlier point, I'm going to try and finish it. Marnie is just, it just changes so many things. It's not like Judge where, you know, you can get those same cards back. So if you're using Marnie is great. You get to draw 5, you put your opponent to 4, and if they had good cards in their hand, now they're at the bottom of their deck and they can't find them. If you're getting Marnied, you know, you try to keep some good cards in your hand, and then all of a sudden they're on the bottom of your deck, and what are you going to do? Okay, so that'll go up front. So this is just the spiciest thing in the world, I gotta say. So I can Tag Call. I don't really want to... I mean, I can Tag Call and get rid of something, but what would I get rid of? I could Tag Call and get rid of Marnie. I don't really want to do that. Cynthia Caitlin, Guzma Hala. I mean, hopefully I have 2 Guzma Hala left. I don't. Oh, crap. Okay, so I guess I'll just get rid of the Marnie. Because I'll get rid of the Guzma Hala and... Oh, the Quick Ball. What am I thinking? Let's get rid of Guzma Hala, Quick Ball, there you go. I will get Turffield, Aromatic, and that's it. Because I don't need anything else, so we got that. I will... Yeah, my deck is finally rearranged. That took forever. I will Turffield for an Orbeetle that I'm probably just going to get rid of. So at this point, I do think it is meaningful to knock out the Weezing. And I thought dark Pokemon were supposed to be weak to grass, but they have all these dark Pokemon and they're all weak to fighting. Could have sworn they were changing that. Okay, so I got 3 Orbeetle VMAX. This is sort of the dream here. You got your Snorlax, but I would be doing a lot better if it wasn't for the freaking Galarian Weezing Marnie combo. So the Galarian Weezing against this specific deck. If you're facing Orbeetle with Eternatus, play Galarian Weezing and Marnie and you just frustrate your opponent into oblivion. But I think Cynthia and Caitlin... Actually, are my thoughts changing about the boss's orders? I mean, you only play 2. You do play Cynthia and Caitlin, but you have to have a boss's in your discard. You have to play Cynthia and Caitlin, so that's an extra turn. I still think you need like a Pokemon catcher or a Great Catcher or something, just something to bring something else up, because that Galarian Weezing, if that's going to be the new spice, I don't know what's going to happen. Uh-oh, my opponent's attaching to their Galarian Weezing again. I know what that means, but do they know what that means? Because they can't poison me. And if I can find a boss's orders at some point... Yep, I'm protected with Aromatic Energy. There's a boss's. All right, I'm going for the big one. Let's do this. I can Eerie Beam. Do I attack with the damaged one? I think I have to attack that for sure. Now, do I attack with the damaged one? It lets me get an extra Eerie Beam attack, but they will take a knockout. It would power up my Reset Stamp, though. But if I do that, what's their boss's count? They're down 2. This is big brain play. You know, if I play it in tournaments, I'd know which is smarter. Oh dear. Do I attack with the damaged one and put them down to 1? I mean, I have the Aromatic Energy. They can't poison me. They're going to take a knockout. What's the smarter move here? I don't know. Let's attack with... Because that would buy me an extra turn. Boss's order. Let's attack with the damaged one, just so I can get an extra Eerie Beam in. I think that might be the right move. Because, I don't know. 200 damage, maybe it's negligible. I think maybe it's negligible, but... I think, I think I overthought there. Again, just like in the previous game, I think I overthought I had to... I mean, they do only have 5 cards left in their deck. But, a Marnie, a Reset Stamp, I don't think that's going to matter. I think what's going to win me the game is Mallow and Lana. I don't know, this is going to be an interesting finish, but I think even then, Orbeetle VMAX, if you can't use Eerie Beam, you can't help fix that math. Orbeetle is just too weak. You need to be able to fix that math. And they have a hiding energy on this thing. I didn't think about that. They might just lose if I bring this up. Because I think they're out of energy. Okay, they used that one. That's interesting. I'm very surprised they didn't retreat. Because I just need to boss as a Crobat for win if I can get enough on it. And the U-Turn Board's coming back into my hand. So I will Marnie them. I have the bosses, so we got Eerie Beam, Eerie Beam. I can't risk putting another Orbeetle V down if I had one, but I don't anyway, so that doesn't matter. Obviously, I'm going to retreat. I'm just going to do this before I forget. Eerie Beam again, so I can do 50 damage to one of these things. I think I need to save the boss's orders. I need to get Mallow and Lana. I need to draw some cards. But then again, a Marnie would be really good here to slow them down, but I don't have another Wondrous Labyrinth. Man, I'm just thinking myself out of this thing. Okay, so I can get Mallow and Lana. I think that's what I want to do. So I only need to take 2 prizes. I will have an Eerie Beam. I think I am just going to lose because I'll be a turn behind. So... get rid of that. Let's go get Mallow and Lana. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to be 10 damage short on the Croagunk. Sure, let's put the Lillie's Pokédoll into play. Why not? I didn't get an energy, though. That's a little worrying. So G-Max Wave. I didn't get a Reset Stamp. I didn't get... Oh, man. Reset Stamp. Both games. I've just been dry on Reset Stamp. Okay. So the Reset Stamp is going to be super important. You want to get your opponent in a position where they do end up knocking out those Snorlax so the Reset Stamp gets more powerful, but I apparently have an aversion to drawing Reset Stamp. So that is unfortunate, but... So they have 2 bosses. They have a Sableye. There's a Marnie. That's interesting. So they're not going to be able to bosses this turn. So I would imagine... that, what does that mean though? Does that mean, okay, there's a Reset Stamp. I can put them to 3 cards, but that might put them into their bosses. Oh man, hopefully they prize their bosses. If they prize their bosses, that's awesome. And, okay, there's 270. An Eerie Beam. So if I don't lose this turn, I win next turn. That's basically what it's going to be. So I will Eerie Beam. I will Bird Keeper, because I can't do anything else. 2, 3, I can attach the Weakness Guard energy, not that that does anything for me. So I needed an energy and I didn't get it. So I think I attach do I just attach the Weakness Guard energy just to get it out of my deck? So let's... Oh man, this is horrible. So I need to Reset Stamp, I guess just Reset Stamp, Gormandize, and Hope. So yeah, sure, let's get that out of my hand. I've used my Eerie Beams. I guess I'll switch into the Snorlax. There's really no reason to hold on to this Reset Stamp, is there? Because I need the boss's orders to win. I need the boss's orders. I don't need a Grass Energy. All I literally need is boss's orders. Otherwise, I lose next turn. And if they have boss's orders, they win. So it doesn't really matter what I do. I need to draw cards, and one of them needs to be boss's orders. And one of them is not boss's orders. Oh, crap. So if they just get a boss's orders, they win. Simple as that. Maybe... I will say that they do have a lot of stuff in this deck. Clearly they play Toxicroak, they play Coughing, they play Wheezing, they play a 3-3 Wheezing, They play at least a 1/1 Toxicroak. Maybe they had to cut bosses to make room for all this? But, I mean, I'm seeing they're down 1 Wheezing. They have all this energy. If I can bosses that Sableye, maybe it's just trapped there. So, again, if they don't find their bosses, I will have a very, very good chance of winning this game. Because I'll just go up with this one. They can't knock this out. I'll put the Aromatic Energy on it. And then I have Eerie Beam. If I can top deck bosses, I win. This is a stressful game. I am definitely not doing game 3. It literally doesn't matter who they switch into. Okay, that kind of matters, I guess. So I'm in the same position as I was last time. I can... Well, yeah, I guess I just... If I had bosses, I would win. That's the crazy thing. No, I wouldn't. Would I? I don't know. Let's Bird Keeper. Let's draw some cards, because I know they don't have bosses in their hand. I am healing that off. Do that. G-Max Wave. Take the knockout. If they have bosses, they win. If they don't have bosses, I win. Simple as that, because I can use Eerie Beam. This freaking Krogunk. I knew this Krogunk would be the downfall. I just needed to use Eerie Beam one more time. And I would have sealed it up. There'd be no more stress. This game would finally end. You know, the stress of almost disconnecting, the stress of a misplay, the stress of not being able to use my abilities, not being able to retreat, and that's game. They do not have bosses orders. That is a well played. That is a great game. Thank you for the game, Poké Dad. I'm gonna win it with Spice. I'm gonna win it with an Eerie Beam. That is amazing. My mind has not changed about Orbeetle, but it doesn't change the fact that that was an amazing game. It was a freaking 25-minute game. Holy shnikey, that was crazy. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. Orbeetle V-max is not tier 1. I think it's tier 2. That was an exciting game. That is the game you hope for, minus all of the disconnect issues and all of that. But that was a great game. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Once I do, I'll open 1,000 packs. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Let me know if you play this deck. I'll see you later.